Hello everyone and welcome back to our Pipedrive series. Today we're going to be talking about activities. It's one of my favorite subjects, so stay with me right after the intro and we're going to see this together. So today it's all about activities, how we create new activities, how we update, how we change types of activities, and also how we synchronize our calendar with Pipedrive. So sharing the screen with you guys. Here I'm in my deals page. Okay, I have my sales pipeline selected in here, and I also have my deals. If you are wondering why I have like a pink tiles in here, okay, you can check the previous video that we did, which explains the routing feature in Pipedrive. So it's a great sort of feature to use in conjunction with the stages. So activities, okay. In Pipedrive, one of the best things to do when we use Pipedrive is to use the activities and the activities page together with deals. The reason why is every time they're going to create a deal, okay, the salesperson is going to have to follow up, is going to have to create tasks or to-dos for the deals, and having activities linked to those deals, it will help a lot. Okay, so here a visualization of how we have activities attached to deals with those small dots. Okay, so every dot that we have in here, in each tile, in each deal, okay, indicates an activity attached to that deal. So we can see that we have dots in red, indicates that I have an activity, okay, that's already overdue. So that was an activity that I should have done yesterday. I have then activities in green that indicates that I have an activity that I should do today, that I have to do today. And in gray, I have activities that are scheduled to do in the future. So this one, as an instance, I have a due date in 7 days. Okay, so that's the visualization that we have with the activities linked to deals here on the deals page. Something that is really interesting here is also that I can clearly see, okay, which ones are late, which ones I should do today, and also deals that I don't have any activity whatsoever linked to those deals. So of course, if I start to get deals in this stage, in the qualified stage, today I have only 5 as in this demo account, but let's say I have 30 or plus deals in here. For sure some deals are going to be pushed down, and if I don't have anything attached to the deals, I'm going to forget to do something about it. I'm going to forget to send an email, to send a quote, to schedule a meeting, whatever it is. If I don't have anything linked to the deal, I might forget it. So Pipedrive uses the little symbol, the yellow symbol in here, saying, hey, attention, you don't have anything scheduled to this deal here, let's schedule an activity. So we can do it straight away from here, from this page. So I can schedule an activity. I can then pick the types of activities that I have in Pipedrive. Okay, we're going to create different types of activities and maybe change some so you guys can see the differences. But for this example, I already have types of activities in here. So a type, a call, a type of activity, a task, an email, visit, a meeting, okay, data analysis, create user, and so on. So the types of activities, you can create them based on your needs, based on your businesses, okay, to help you to follow up with tasks, to follow up with meetings that you have to do with your clients. So in this example, I can just say that I wanted to create an email. I can change the subject, or I can just leave like that, just picking on the type, and then move along. So for which day, okay, is that for today, is that for whatever day I want? If my calendar is synchronized with Pipedrive, like for example now, mine it is, okay, I can see right here, do I have availability on the 24th and whatever time I wanted to schedule the meeting. So I can just maybe pick on Friday the 25th, and then my calendar right here, it would also change based on what I have in my calendar. Okay, so I could say that it's for the 25th. Am I free? Am I not free? Okay, so if it's an email, a type email, I could say that I'm free. Okay, I can send this email anytime during the day. But if it was a meeting, for example, I could just say then, okay, the meeting, it's Friday, what time am I available Friday? Well, I have a doctor's appointment in the morning, so I could say that at 1 o'clock. So I pick 1 o'clock. How long the meeting goes for? If it's 1 hour, 2 hours, I could say this 1 hour. Pipedrive would adjust already, would allocate the time for me right here. I could create a note if I wanted to. And then, who is this activity for? For which user in Pipedrive? So in here, you could select the user, okay, in this case, me. And is there a due linked to this activity? Yes, we do have a due right there. The contact of the due, okay, so who do I have to do this meeting with? Okay, it's gonna be Owen Lee. And is there any organization associated with this due, with this activity? For this case, no. Okay, and I could just go and save this. Pipedrive straight away is going to update the status of the due as well. Okay, and it's also going to create the activity for me. So that's one way of creating an activity, is straight away from the dues page, which then I could also create a due, an activity is straight away from my activities due. So you see there, now I have the email that I have to send it today, and I also have a meeting which is scheduled in 2 days with Alex, which is the user, okay, and also with Owen Lee. Let's say that I also create an activity in this yellow dot in here, let's for Mark, okay. I'm going to schedule one. Actually, I picked the wrong one before, but now, okay, I'm going to create also a meeting with Mark. Okay, Mark, we can see there has an organization attached to it now. And what I'm gonna do is, because it's a meeting, okay, I wanted to make sure I block the time, and I'm gonna pick the tomorrow's date. So tomorrow I have already a test it's connecting for a client, and also I'm gonna do this meeting with Mark for half an hour in there. I'll save this. At the moment that I saved, we can see that my tile in there, my due tile, also changed color. Okay, that's related to the rotting feature that I mentioned before earlier in this video. And we can see that like now this due has an activity attached to it. So if I change views, if I go and move it along to do other things in Pipedrive, I'm sure that every single due that I have something attached to it. I have an activity is scheduled to do for a due. Okay, so that's in the dues page. Another way to look into activities and visualize our activities, okay, is from the activities page. In the activities page, we have two views. We have the list view and also the calendar view. Okay, in the list view, it's very similar to also to the dues page list view that we have. But the advantage that I have in here is that if I click in this little icon right here, okay, open details in full view, it's gonna give me, so if I click on the subject, for example, it's gonna open up this window here, this sort of side sliding window, where I have the information about everything related to this activity, to this deal, to this client, okay, the contact, and to the organization. I don't necessarily need to leave the activities page to sort of, okay, I need to know about the deal. What is the deal about? What is the value of my deal, or which type of product I'm selling? Do I have information about my contacts? So everything now, if I have this little icon here, if I have this little icon activated, okay, I can now see everything is straight away from the activities view. Okay, so if I don't activate that, the difference is that if I click now in the subject, rather than having the full view of the activities, the deal, the contact, now I have only that particular activity right here. Okay, so sometimes if you see that, it's because this little icon here is not selected, is not activated. So clicking this little icon, I think it will help you a lot to sort of, you can even work from here. We have clients that they fully work from this page where they get here, they will have all types of activities that they need right there, okay, and they're going to start their day, okay. So I could select unselected all like this, okay, if they are not in blue, so not highlighted, okay. I could then say, all right, I wanted to see all calls that I have to do, okay, and because it's their user, it's going to list all the calls that I have to do. Overdue, the ones I have to do today, the ones I have to do in the future. And I could even say like, it started my day from here, select that call, and I can see, do I have any due linked to that? No, I don't have. Do I have any person linked to this activity? No, I don't have. Okay, I just have, maybe is an invoice that I have to do. I mean, the type maybe is wrong. I could just update it to a task, and it's an invoice, and I could then in here also link this invoice, let's say to a client. Let's say that I have a due that I know that I have to send this invoice. I could just search for the due. Let's say Mark. It is Mark Monoprix. Yes, I could then select that, and Pipedrive, it will update straight away the information for me in here. Okay, I could then mark this as done. Okay, so invoice sent, I mark as done, and I save. At this moment on, in here, I have the activity marked as done. I can then just go and check the due that I just linked. Okay, save. Closing there. And then that would disappear from here because it's an activity that is already done. I don't have that in my list anymore. Okay. As an example, just to go back and see the things done inside of Mark's due, the one we just did before. If I go back in my dues page, okay, in my dues page, the Mark's due that I just have. Now we can see in here the invoice activity done by me today, invoice sent. So I had an activity that didn't have any contact attached to it, okay, in my dues page. I was able to link the due, automatically link the contact and also the organization to that due, to that activity. Okay, so that's one way of like, once we don't have a due, for example, let's say I wanted to link, I could just click in here and search the contacts page, the dues page, or the dues in here, and link this straight away. Okay. Another interesting thing in here that we can do, as I said, if we don't have anything attached, if we don't have anything in here, okay, I can select all of them and then I'll see all the activities. But as I said, if I wanted to continue on my day, okay, I've done all the calls. Now I wanted to see which tasks that I have to do, which emails I have to send, which visits I have to do. I could then just click each one and then see one by one right here. Okay. So then enabling the activities that I wanted to see, okay, I have this full control on my activities page to see only things that I wanted to see right now. Okay, so if it's important for me to see the meetings, if it's important for me to see the emails that I have to send, or the videos that I have this week, okay, I can then select the types of activities that I wanted to see. Talking about types of activities, what are types of activities here in Pipedrive? Basically, so those little things right there. Okay, and how do we create types of activities? How do we edit them? Okay, let's say that I need to have an extra type of activity in here that's important for me, or let's say that I wanted to edit one of them. If you are in the dues on the activities page, sorry, you can go over those three little dots in here, okay, and you can go activity settings. That's one way to go there. So if I click in here, open, we go right there, company activities. Okay, so that's one way of going there. The second way is you could go over your user, and if, of course, if you are an admin user, if you have the rights to go there, you go on company settings, and in company settings you will also find activities. Okay, in the activities you have the types of activities, that's the ones I was mentioning before, and they are here. Okay, we have two categories: the active types of activities, and we also have the ones that deactivated, because I could maybe create lots and then I see that I don't have them. Pipedrive doesn't really delete them, it deactivates them. Okay, so let's say that I have one that's deactivated. I could just come here and reactivate the type of activity, or I could just go in the activated ones and then just go and create a new type of activity. So if you wanted to add a new type of activity, okay, it's always good to think about why I'm gonna need that type of activity. Also, not to pollute your view in your activities page. But let's say that I wanted to know a particular information, or I wanted to sort of, when I schedule a to-do for me, okay, or a task with the client, I wanted to make sure that after I can track on the reports. So creating types of activities also going to help me to create reports. It's also going to help me to generate reports based on the activity types. Also, I can do automations. Okay, so I can create a workflow automation behind saying if a deal has a particular activity type, well, then do X function for me in Pipedrive. So I could say that, like, if an activity type call is marked as done, I wanted to make sure that my deal moves to the next stage. Okay, we're going to work on automations in another video, then we can kind of rephrase and go back to this same scenario. But in here we are creating a new activity type. Let's say, for example, I wanted to create one that is going to be called my external calendar. Okay, the reason why is because once we synchronize our calendars to Pipedrive, we have two options, and I'm going to show you why. So let's say that I want to create one that's called my Google Calendar. Okay, and I can choose an icon. So I'm going to choose this little global icon, and I'll save, and then this new activity type is right here. Okay, if I go back in my activities page, and of course if I refresh the page in here, I'm going to be able to see now this extra type of activity. So if I wanted to create an activity, if I wanted to do something inside of my deals, I can then use that activity type right there. So here we go. Okay, now we also have the Google Calendar that's right here. And why I'm using this Google Calendar, it's because in Pipedrive, if we're gonna go and synchronize our calendars, okay, so how do we synchronize this? We go in company settings, so right on top in our user, company settings or personal preferences, either or, okay, because if you're in personal preferences, then it's right here, and then we're gonna go in calendar sync. My email is already synchronized with Pipedrive, okay, so it's already right here. Alex's Tuba, it's already synchronized, it's right there, the type of calendar I want. But I'm gonna do one from a different account that I have to show you how we synchronize. So if you go to the same place, okay, calendar sync, and you're gonna synchronize your calendar, let's say it's a Google account, you can come over here, add a new account, okay, and you're gonna add your account. So blc-conseil.com, continue. Okay, then Pipedrive is going to ask for authorization. Okay, what is, there we go, it's Alex. Next, so it's asking permission, Pipedrive is asking permission for, you know, and we go for Pipedrive. Pipedrive is asking permission to my Google account to select, can we go and then access the calendar? I'll say yes, I'll continue. And now Pipedrive is gonna ask, okay, do we have more than one calendar in Google that you wanted to synchronize with Pipedrive? If yes, which type of calendar? Okay, so in this example, okay, is right here. Okay, so I have 3 calendars in my Google calendar. So let's say that I wanted to synchronize my Pipedrive demo calendar. Types of synchronizations that we have. So we have 2 types. One is a two-way sync, okay, as the name says, Pipedrive to our external calendar, can be Google, Microsoft, or a one-way sync, okay? One-way sync is Pipedrive to our Google or Microsoft calendar, so to our external calendar. For the example, I wanted to do a two-way sync, okay? So everything that I mark an activity in here in Pipedrive, also I can send the information over to my external calendar. If I schedule a meeting on my Google Calendar, for example, now, I'm going to bring the information also to Pipedrive. What is really, really important here is how we're going to see the information, okay? So we can see in here, if I schedule something on my external calendar, save calendar events to Pipedrive as which type of activity. So, okay, so in here, we're going to find the types of activities. Of course, this is my demo account. But if we go in the account that I was using before, okay, every time that I was creating something on my Google Calendar, it would come here in Pipedrive as a task, okay? So no matter which type of event that I would create on my Google Calendar, if it was an event, if it was a task in there, it would come here as a task type of activity, okay? So that's coming from Google into Pipedrive. The reason why I create the Google Calendar is that in some instances, for some industries, you can then say to Pipedrive, every time that I have an event that happens on my Google account, I want it to show in here in Pipedrive as a type of activity Google Calendar. So then I could then go in my activities view and then filter everything that I created only on my Google Calendar and not here in Pipedrive. So it's a way to sort of a way around to manage your calendar. So to know where you reschedule those appointments. So you could then say in here, okay, everything that is scheduled activity from my Google Calendar is going to come here as a Google Calendar. And then what do I want to export from Pipedrive to my Google Calendar? So I wanted to make sure everything that's really important only. So if it is a call, well, I can make a call any time of the day. I don't really necessarily need to block my time on my calendar to make a call. Of course, depending on the businesses, if the call is really important to you, then we can definitely mark a call. But a visit is really important. It's a one-to-one person, or I need to go to a particular place. So I wanted to make sure that this is going to be allocated in my calendar. Another thing is a meeting. So if I have a meeting with someone, I want to make sure that this time that I'm going to have on my calendar is going to be blocked as well. For me, a data analysis is also important because it's time that I need to take to analyze my data. So I wanted to make sure I'm going to have that time booked on my calendar. Depending on the business that you have, you can change that. You can, add the things that you want. Like that Google Calendar from here is not necessarily to go over the other way. And then I would, it would be done. So in here on the other account, I could then start to synchronize, and Pipedrive would start to bring in information that I have on my Google Calendar in here. Let me just see if I have, if I go and I'll open my calendar. Then what we do, we can go over in here, and then I wanted to see only my Pipedrive demo calendar. Looking only at those, if I go into my activities page, okay, and then go back in my calendar, in here, let's say that I wanted to create an activity for tomorrow, I wanted to make an appointment for tomorrow, and I click on my Google Calendar, okay, and I'll give it test meeting with Alex. Okay, I'm going to save that. It's going to be from, let's say, 2 o'clock to 3. I'll save the information. it's right there, test meeting with Alex. If I go back on my calendar in here, maybe because I just resynchronize, might take a little while, but if I refresh my page, and if I change from my list view into my calendar view, then I can see, so that's another type of view that I have. I can go now in calendar view, and then in the calendar view, I have the test meeting with Alex. And I can see already that I have the icon, okay, the little globe icon, okay, because indicates is an activity that was scheduled on my Google Calendar, okay. Again, I can see in here the way I set up with all the types of activities, but let's say that I wanted to filter, I don't want to see any of the information, I only want to see calls. I can then just see all the calls that I have to do on my calendar view, okay. And if I'm really busy, let's say Wednesday, I'm really busy, okay, I don't have time to do any of those calls, I could just drag them and drop them to another particular day that I want. So let's say I'm going to move them to tomorrow, and that one also to tomorrow. So straight away, Pipedrive is going to update the information inside. It's going to change the due date from today to tomorrow. He added a time in there because I just dragged to that particular time from 8 to 9. But let's say that now I only want to see all the activities that were scheduled on my Google Calendar right in here. So I can then select that type of activity, Google Calendar, the one I created before, and now I'm able to see only the Google Calendar activities here in Pipedrive. So that's one way of managing the visibility that you have from things that comes from Google or Microsoft in here in Pipedrive. Is also creating this type of activity that is your external calendar. It helps in some cases that that you create a lot of activities in there, and then it brings you in Pipedrive, and sometimes you might forget to update them, you might forget to mark them as a done. So you could then bulk them on a list, all the activities that is on my Google Calendar view only, and then I could just mark all of them as done, for example. Okay, so like this example, I would unselect all of them, like that. I'll click only on my Google Calendar ones, and I would see them, and let's say that this, if it was already overdue, if I already knew that I had this meeting, I could then just bulk them, mark them as done, and that's it. Okay, so that's it for today, guys. We're gonna continue on with activities in the next video. Okay, we're gonna go over propose times. Okay, how we create propose times, how we manage them as well, and a little bit more about activity types. Okay, how we can then tweak Pipedrive with the activity types, and also here on filters and also ownership filters. So I hope you enjoy for today. I'll see you briefly and see you next time. Bye bye for now.